Welcome, everybody. We're back in the Phantasy Star universe. Welcome to Drak and Shadow Playthrough Phantasy Star Online, episodes 1 and 2 plus.
For the Gamecube.
So, first of all, before we start things up, I need to make sure this is clear. We did hear from you guys, and we appreciate you guys giving us your feedback. But it was kind of 50-50 on the matter, so we've decided that we're going to go ahead and play with Alex at the helm. And if you guys strongly disagree with that later on, we'll leave it open so that you guys can suggest that we do it in another way. But for the moment, we're going to go ahead and have Alex take the helm, which makes me excited because I played Phantasy Star Online. I actually played on the Dreamcast. I didn't play on the GameCube.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't seen everything in this game because obviously it's supposed to be like an MMO in length.
Yes.
Hopefully it's not amazingly long, but...
Well, no, the story mode is very short.
Okay.
It's just...
Because World of Warcraft story mode is like 100 hours now.
Yeah. But yeah, specifically we are playing episodes 1 and 2 plus for the GameCube. It was sort of an expansion pack edition, I guess you could call it, more or less. Because it came out 2005, 2004 or so, with some new modes added, some extra quests added for online play and offline play. But we're only going to be playing offline, because obviously there's really no...
The servers are down, people. We can't play it otherwise.
There are some dedicated servers still running, but that takes some finagling and some real work to get through, so we're not going to go there.
We're not going to worry about homebrewing or anything like that, but this is a nice way to be able to cap off the Phantasy Star series, because obviously there hasn't been a game... Well, there were games that followed this, because there was Phantasy Star Universe, which was kind of okay. I wasn't entirely on board with it. And obviously PSO2 is running, I think, in Japan and Korea.
Yeah.
But that's been it. So this is pretty much like the capstone to our Phantasy Star playthroughs. So it's kind of sad in that regard. Like, this is kind of the end for us. But I have a feeling we'll have some fun along the way too. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm assuming we're going with Sahura here.
Yes, she's my first character I ever created when I first picked up the game. She's a Ranger class, Ramarl, I guess you could say. Ranger Marl, so she's a gunner. But let me just quickly show some of the other classes that I do have. I haven't really played anything with him, but Z, that's just an android. Same Ranger class, but android.
Okay.
I have a mage, Fomarl, Force. They call them Forces, because Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I have a Hunorl, which is a swords person. And we'll probably show off some of these characters if we do like a little multiplayer extra. I'll let Adam take one of these extras, or I'll play an extra and we'll just have some fun. But I'm going to go with my main character, because she's overpowered as can be right now. We're just going to play a normal mode, starting with episode 1, normal.
Wait, not very hard? You're not hardcore enough.
You're right, I'm not. I really did try. Even up to last night, before we're recording this, I tried to beat episode 1 on hard mode, and no, I've not even unlocked ultimate mode, so...
Well, but at the same time, like, the stuff that we do on this channel, guys, is not necessarily for the hardcore.
Yeah. So, but there are differences in the hard mode, mostly just in the bosses. There's not a tremendous amount of differences, but in the bosses there are. Let's see. Ooh, everything looks so sharp. I'm not used to everything looking so sharp. But as you can see, I have...
Well, we are technically playing this in 720 format, or at least close to it.
480p. Yeah, because normally I run on interlace, because that's all I got, but the fact this is running in progressive mode, there you go.
There you go. So this is going to be an interesting playthrough. And I'm gonna go ahead and let Alex take over for the story mode, because he knows where to go for it.
Yep. We're gonna dive right in, but first we gotta go shopping.
Yep, this is starting to feel like Dot Hack all over again.
Yep, it's gonna be very Dot Hack. It's item caps and shopping and...
Hopefully not like 15 level dungeons that are horrible grinds, and we literally sit there and twiddle or bite our fingernails to see whether or not we're going to make it through.
Well, there's no insta-fail modes. You can die, of course. There is one,
sure.
And you'll be just sent back to Pioneer 1. But the good news is, if you die, well, as long as you don't quit the game, if you go right back to the dungeons, so to speak, everything is still going to be cleared to where you last left off.
Now, if I remember correctly, the Dreamcast version did have some level of an experience penalty for death. Does this still carry that?
I don't know, actually. I don't think so. I just know you lose your Meseta.
Because I know a lot of like retro MMOs, as soon as World of Warcraft hit the scene and didn't have that, they actually backtracked that policy and either significantly reduced it or took out the penalty entirely. Because I still remember like people complaining to me about Final Fantasy XI. Like you could be level capped in that, and if you died, you weren't level capped anymore. You had to pay XP to be resurrected, and then at that point you're not cap anymore.
Ah, that sucks.
So that's stupid in my opinion. I did notice your character is 52. Is there a cap in this game?
I think it's like really high. I think it's like 300 or something.
Okay.
So we're a long way from the cap.
Probably not happening here. But...
Yeah. Like I said, I've not even unlocked Ultimate mode. Mm-hmm. I had a friend who's played it through Ultimate, and he's finished the game on Ultimate, but I'm not. I'm not that good at this game. I'm good enough, but...
That's cool. This is just... For me, it's more of a... Let's cap off Phantasy Star the right way and actually show where they went from here, and that is that they went to MMOs, because MMOs were popular at that time, when starting with, I believe Ultima Online was the first ever first game ever considered to be an MMO.
Right. Now, even though I've essentially already played through the story, but it's not like a typical story where you got like cutscenes and shit. It's just you just kind of talk to people and go about things. It's a very, very light story.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. Undiscovered monsters also exist in the ancient ruins.
Oh, noes!
So normally you'll talk to the principal guy before you really go anywhere. But so I guess there, unfortunately, I won't be able to show you. But I didn't really want to start from scratch because they lack in like actual dungeon length. They just make for with waves and waves and waves of enemies that come at you. And because the way the game is set up, it's sort of like if you don't complete an entire level, you pretty much have to start over.
Plus, the added advantage here is that we have a level 52, right?
Yes.
If we were playing from the beginning, we would have stuff that would be barred off to us because it would be so difficult we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So at that point, I mean, you know, I know that Alex wants me to play the other characters, but what I would want to do if I got into multiplayer is I would want to create my own character. Probably not something that's ranged. I'd probably create something melee.
Right.
But, I mean... That's the added advantage here, is that we can go through stuff fairly easily.
Yeah. Now here's where most of the story is going to be told through, is these little capsules you'll find. They're also really good markers to find your path.
Okay.
Testing. I'm Rico Tyrell. I'm a hunter. This capsule is for anyone who's come here looking for me. I hope this helps you. I don't know who you are, but you must know there's something unusual about Dragol. This is important. Pay attention to everything around you if you want to survive. And the principal guy that we just talked to, Rico's his daughter, actually.
Okay.
And, yeah, you'll see a little more. Yep, so, boom, one-shot kills. This will be a pretty light playthrough.
I'm strangely okay with this. This is more of a story thing, just to experience what Phantasy Star Online had to offer people. And I already have gotten people asking, like, will you tackle Phantasy Star Universe? I don't think you have, Alex.
I've played it. I've never finished it.
I played it a little bit. I was not too impressed with it.
Yeah, it's...
And PSO2, probably not, because, well, I can't read Japanese or Korean, so...
Yeah. Stupid wolves.
Then, yeah, probably, but...
Savage wolf.
This might just be a nice little capper to the Phantasy Star mythos and being able to move on to other RPGs, because, well, as much as we love the Phantasy Star universe, we do have other RPGs that people want us to try out, and we want to be able to do that for you guys.
Some more fun facts about the game. True to its name, yes, it was online, even on the Gamecube. The Gamecube, actually, a lot of people don't know, the Gamecube had a broadband-based modem accessory, and there was only a handful of games that ever used it.
Which, compared to the craptastic modem that the Dreamcast had, from what I've heard, was golden. It was amazing to
Probably
be able to play
so.
that game.
A couple more years of technology there.
Yeah, nothing against the Dreamcast. I love the Dreamcast, but its modem was very early concept kind of thing.
Boomas. I don't like their weird faces. Be careful, you don't want to get surrounded by them.
Yeah, because I did a lot of online gaming on the Dreamcast when we figured out a way to be able to use it. So like I did play the time trials that Sonic Adventure had, and held a record for about 5 seconds. And it was for a Knuckles. That was the part that pissed me off. I wanted it for a Sonic level, but people were literally breaking the level to beat it.
Yeah.
So, like, you had 10-second clear times and stuff like that. And I got one for Knuckles because there wasn't a whole lot there, and then 5 seconds later, somebody beat my time. So that happened, and I do remember, like, us playing, because I played a little bit, but most of the person who most played it was my brother on Dreamcast. And so I remember seeing him play it and not really liking the online connection. It's one of the reasons he kind of stuck with PC MMOs, because they run a little bit faster. Because you got to remember, guys, like, before 360, PS3, and Wii, and I'm using that era because that's when I feel like the connection was stable. PS2, original Xbox, to me, they all had online problems, and part of that was just because of the craptastic modems that were in the consoles. So, not really much you can do about it, but thankfully, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo learned from Sega's mishap there and got more powerful modems to work
Yeah.
with.
Oh, by the way, like previous games, we use Meseta as our currency, but I also, funny thing about this little art here, this little sprite 3D model, whatever it really is, I'm not sure.
Yep.
They actually reused it in Sonic Unleashed. When you gain experience as the Werehog, they used the same Meseta art palette for it.
Not entirely surprising. Sega and Sonic Team have been known to reuse assets.
Yeah. I mean, every game...
I'm not as
gamer
against
does.
that as a lot of people are. Reusing assets isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not lazy, it's not anything like that, because in some cases you have to update the asset, and if you do that, then you're already showing your dedication. At least as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's kind of my experience with PSO. Obviously, you've played probably a lot more than me.
Yes. Never played online, unfortunately, because never had the modem adapter. Not like I could pay for it.
Well, you've technically played an online MMO, it's just not this.
Yeah, I played online MMOs. I said I never played this online.
Yeah. Oh, so you never like tried out the GameCube modem?
I never had the modem, so never could. It wouldn't matter because I was a teenager, and my parents really didn't want me to hold part-time jobs when I was a teenager. They wanted me to focus on school and other stuff, so it's not like I'd have any way to pay for it myself.
Yes, and I can actually vouch for this because they did it also with your sister. I still remember those nights where like Andrea would sneak on World of Warcraft and just go do a quest or two, and she'd be super, super quiet about it. She'd get mad at me if I whispered her. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, "Shh." And I mean, here's the thing too. Like, were you in the basement at that point at that place?
Yeah, maybe.
Because she was in her room, which was right next to your parents' room. So, yes, spoiler alert, she was living at her parents' house while she went to nursing school. Heaven forbid. But yeah, she was right next to your parents' room, so she could literally like wake them up and then get in trouble.
Yeah, that was a thing.
So, and yet a funny thing for me because like, hey, I haven't seen you on in a while, and she's like, shh. I'm trying to play the game. Shut up. I only have enough time to do like 2 quests. Okay, all right. No wonder I'm out leveling you in this game.
Oh, and more trivia, more Dreamcast trivia actually. When this game was on Dreamcast, the very first year it was out, the president of Sega actually gave everybody a year of free online service. And he paid for it out of his own pocket.
Yep.
That is fucking awesome.
Which some people questioned later on whether or not it was the best idea for Sega to do, but it was technically his own money.
It was his own money.
Yeah,
so.
he wasn't using the, like a lot of, I've seen some people dispute, like, did he use the Sega budget or did he use his salary? And I tend to want to go on the route of he used his own salary.
I think he used his own salary, too.
Which
I just
still probably wouldn't be the wisest thing to do, but hey, it's his own money. He can do whatever he wants with it.
I think it's brilliant, because that's pretty much excellent publicity right there. That's enough to get players interested. God damn it, I'm lost already.
It's all right. I have a feeling this is going to happen quite a bit, so we'll make it work.
These are kind of mazy, kind of confusing at times. But again, thankfully we're playing in normal mode where I'm already overpowered and can kill everything in one shot.
Exactly. And so, like, there's not going to be a whole lot of difficulty required here.
Dun, dun, dun.
And
this is so
the
atmospheric.
other problem too is like, I love it when MMOs put in soothing music, but now I've kind of realized if you do that in a Let's Play, it's kind of impossible to not be enthralled by it and immediately get tired. It's like, okay, I need to keep myself focused. What do I talk about? I need to start punching myself in the leg. Well, since you don't have a tidbit of knowledge here, I actually do have an anime update for people if you're ready for it.
All right.
Okay, so here is Drak's anime update. I finished Double Zeta finally. Do you want to chime in there, Alex?
Congratulations.
Took you bloody forever.
One's like, what made the animals become so violent all of a sudden? They weren't before. They were very quiet and friendly. There must be some cause. I'll find it. I know I'm a fool. This won't make me any richer. Perhaps that's why I'm exalted by them. Red Rico. Ha ha! But I'm not really the great hunter citizens say I am. They just needed a hero, and I'm just happen to fill that position.
All right, so I believe we're going the right way.
Now
okay, we have enemies. So
we're finally on track.
Okay. So yeah, I finished up Double Zeta. At this point, I didn't have a whole lot left to go through, but I've gone through the final battle, which was, because I don't think I actually pointed this out. By the time my last anime update went up, a coup had happened in Neo Zeon. So at that point, you had Glemmy Toto's forces, and then you had Haman Karn's forces. And in the middle was the Nahel Argama and their crew. Mm-hmm. So at this point, the last couple of episodes that I had were this battle and seeing it unfold, which, first of all, we saw Peru 2 actually turn against Glemmy because apparently all Purus are connected, and the original Puru, started messing with her head and saying, no, you need to help Judo.
Right.
So this is also the time when we got a lot of casualties. Puru 2, I believe, Puru 2 was one of them. Glemmy obviously was a casualty. To some extent, Haman was, but I believe in the end she did survive. But she didn't want to do war anymore. So that's like the ultimate resolution there. I also have a little bit of redacting to do because the game pulled a 180 on me. So people remember the rant that I did about the death of Judao's sister Lena?
Mm-hmm.
Turns out she was alive.
Okay.
So the way that they tried to justify this was we have a scene later on with Captain Bright, because the Federation isn't necessarily involved in this war. They're getting ready to get involved. And it just so happens that he goes and visits with Sayla. Sayla we haven't seen since the original Gundam series. She was the sister of Char. It turns out she was living near where Lena was, rescued Lena before the hut exploded, and she's been living with Lena ever since, or with Sayla ever since. And so at the very end, we actually get to have a heartwarming moment where Judao and Lena reunite, but only for 10 seconds, because Judao's actually on his way to Jupiter.
Okay.
That's kind of the resolution. In order to avoid conflict and stuff like that, they create a joint operation to go explore Jupiter. And so you actually have a good portion of the new type, not crew members, but new type characters that haven't died, join this cruise to Jupiter, including Lena and Roluka. She also joins with. But then you also have some of the Shangri-La people stay behind because they want to go back and live their lives. And that's kind of how the series ends. They all realize that war is folly, and then you have this expedition to Jupiter. And that's kind of the credit sequence, is them flying to Jupiter on their long-term space travel ship.
Yeah.
But I also know that this is not the end, because while they were off at Jupiter, there was conflict happening in the colonies and Earth once more between Char and Amuro once again. And that's actually lead up into the movie that I'm going to be watching next, which is Char's Counterattack. So, overall, I like Double Zeta. I will say this, though. The series takes so many turns that it's hard to keep track of the plot sometimes, especially when I have to take breaks from it.
Right.
So there were a couple of times where I had to reaffirm, okay, do I know what this character is and all that? But overall, it was an enjoyable experience. It was very funny throughout most of it, especially with some of the cyber new type characters like Kara and Mashimir being weird, which is funny because Mashimir like started off hilarious, and then they reintroduced him near the end, and he was super serious. He was like Batman serious. But there's one thing I learned from this series. All cyber new types are effed up in the head. They really are.
All right.
So one thing that a viewer of Drak and Shadow actually did ask that I do is once I get enough shows under my belt to actually rank them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. Since I've only watched 3 series, I'm not going to rank the stuff that I've already seen because I'm going to watch through it again now that I have this new knowledge.
Hold on. A disaster occurred. Things were shaking, then something broke through the surface. And then it exploded in the central dome.
Oh no!
I don't know what to say. For 7 years, we tried to adjust and improve the environment. What was it? Was it related to the accidents we've had recently?
Of course it was.
Strange stuff be going on here.
We've learned from the first 4 games. Of course it's related to the accidents. No. I mean, like, seriously, this has happened in the first 4 games.
Yes.
The accidents are usually the cause, or caused by this. So, as far as ranking, here's the way it's going to go, and I'm going to go from least liked to most liked. Least like, if you haven't guessed it, is the original Gundam. I am not on board with that series. It bothered me to great extents, especially the character of Amuro. He still bugs me to this day. So yeah, my least liked right now is the original 0079 Gundam. Second place actually would go to Double Zeta, because Double Zeta does do a lot of swerves, and a lot, like, it's very hard to follow the story unless you've just binge watched it. And even then, I still think you'd be confused. But there's enough humor in there that it's justified. And then obviously my top one would be Zeta, and it's just because Zeta feels like a more coherent story. Following Judah around didn't feel as coherent. It was, in some ways, really weird, but following, oh crap, what's his name? Camille was very easy to do. Very easy to do. Yes, he is very much a Shin Asuka kind of character, but it's still, I was still able to follow things from day one.